What's up, everybody? You've tuned in to Just Draws, the podcast that explores hot topics and various experiences among same-gender-loving Black men. In each episode, we offer raw, vulnerable, and stripped-down perspectives to give voice to our frequently overlooked population. Here, we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep, peeling back the layers of our experiences as well as heteronormative stereotypes. Let's get into this week's episode.
Hey, what's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon back with another episode of the Just Draws podcast. Rolling solo dolo tonight. And I wanted to talk about a topic that had been kind of on my mind for a minute, but it's only been like exacerbated recently. So I wanted to talk to y'all about what I call Black nepotism. We all know what nepotism mean, right? I don't think we gotta go down that rabbit hole. But I call it Black nepotism because even though it's not, people using their familial contacts or, getting their leg in the door from their dad with access or, or anything like that. It's still one of those kind of things where it's like, basically, once you're in, you're in. I think it goes without saying that Black people have a very, very strong appreciation for our Black celebrities. And that runs the gamut. That goes from, entertainment to sports to, beloved political and social figures, all that kind of stuff. So with that being considered, the main point, because this ain't gonna be too long, y'all. The main point is I feel like we have, as far as when I say we, I mean the Black community. Again, hinting on what I said before, it's like that whole once you're in thing. The thing, the big difference for us as Black people is that it's like Black people make you, it's almost like you got to earn it. You got to get it out the mud, or you have to have been decided upon by the collective, essentially, that, okay, you deserve to be there. You are now a celebrity. Like you're somebody who we gonna fuck with. So it's like, once you make it as a football player, a singer, hell, in 2024, popular enough, IG, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, social media personality, then you are now just branded as celebrity. And what we do in our community too often is celebrity equates to not just access, because access is one thing. That's kind of like, it kind of goes without saying that, the minute you start blowing up as this huge personality in football or basketball, yeah, you're going to get other doors open to you in other industries. However, we don't typically seem to bother to step back and say, or ask ourselves, why are we not caring about the quality of products as long as it's attached to somebody we already like? For instance, like right now, Snoop, the Olympics is popping off. The biggest stars, biggest Olympic sports are typically gymnastics, track and field, sports that don't get a lot of love outside of Olympic years. So, they're flying through the roof right now with ratings. We're seeing all these medals. coming back to the US, which is amazing. But one of the main ambassadors we have for the Olympic Games is Snoop. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Uncle Snoop like everybody loves Uncle Snoop. Don't get me wrong. But when I look at the fact that Snoop now has another check, it's not because he has any real media experience. It's not because he's ever hosted anything like significantly. Come on, let's keep it a buck. It's because he's Snoop and he has that level of cachet in the black community. So the powers that be in quote unquote mainstream default and are like, oh, okay, yeah, let's get Snoop over here to come sit with Simone Biles' parents or something like that. Snoop probably ain't never seen nobody do nothing more than one YouTube video of Simone Biles doing a vault from like 8 years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but that level of cachet is so accessible once you're celebrated as a black person in the black community. That cachet is just there. And to piggyback off of that, I saw a commercial the other day. Everybody knows the TV show The Voice. Tell me why Snoop is now one of the what do you call them? I don't watch The Voice, but I mean I know the premise. He's one of the coaches. Snoop is now in a chair that like Jennifer Hudson, John Legend, Kelly Clarkson, Gwen Stefani, like people who actually sing have always occupied. What is Snoop going to do as somebody's coach on a singing competition? Like at that point, this shit is ridiculous. But that's that black nepotism. Black people are just fine with anybody who's already a solidified black who we mess with getting all the jobs, basically. And that's the part that is a problem for me. Like I said, it's not about Snoop. Everybody loves Snoop. But I don't want to see Snoop sitting over there being somebody who is auditioning for a show in an attempt to springboard their career. I don't want to see Snoop being over there as somebody who this person is now led by the producers to join the team of. Why would anybody logically be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to win a singing competition, I'm gonna go with Snoop. Snoop is gonna get me to that point. Like it's just ridiculous at this point. And again, not to bash on Snoop. I mean, I already made that clear. That has nothing to do with Snoop. Snoop is just a benefiter. He benefits from it. You know, the problem is definitely not Snoop's, and nor is he an idiot to keep taking these checks. As long as they pumping them out, I would do the same thing. I mean, up to a certain point, maybe, but I mean, I can't tell you what I would do if I was in Snoop's position. Who knows? But yeah, it's like, you know, even like when we go back to like the 90s, when we first started seeing the heavy emergence of, not emergence, but the heavy blending of like hip hop and R&B, when they started to become a category. You know, prior to that, it was like you had hip hop, you had R&B. Then all of a sudden, the record labels were just making it basically the black music category. I'll never forget seeing some award show. It was either the Billboard Award show or the American Music Awards, and the category was literally like best hip hop, R&B, soul, and you had like once again, I think my man Snoop was in there, and then you had like two R&B singers, and it's just like, well, how are they even in the same category? But that's very easy to do when the powers that be already understand that it's just about popular black faces being centered and being in that space. So, to track back and get back to my main point was like, that's when we first started seeing any rapper with a hit all of a sudden has 3 movies coming out. All of a sudden. Like, you ain't gotta take nobody's acting class, bro. You ain't gotta do nothing but show up and be you. You can struggle through the script. It's alright. You're you. And black people will show up and support this project because you're in it. T.I. done had more movies than, I don't know how many actors from that time who were like trained, experienced actors. And no slight at T.I. T.I. got really, he got much stronger as he went along, and like really did like step into the awareness of how big that possibility, the possibilities were for his acting career. And so that's kudos to him for that, because he definitely took it serious. He recognized how much bigger that Hollywood bag was than that music bag, and played the game appropriately. But it's the bottom line of it. It's like T.I.'s hip hop celebrity gave him access and basic carte blanche to whatever he wanted to do if the black community was involved. So all the actors showing up, the people who have been training, the people who do this as their real lives, as their real careers that they're pursuing, those people ended up losing out on jobs because T.I., Snoop, fill in the blank are all getting the black actor jobs. I'll never forget that quote from the great American cinematic classic. This is one of the best movies that ever was filmed in Hollywood. Don't be a menace. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. That's my movie. When they were having a shootout, and the little boy runs by, and Sean Wayans says something to him about don't you realize you're a what say, like you're a something like a dying breed or something along that line. That wasn't the term. And then the boy was like, why? Because of all the hood gang violence or something like that. And he's like, no, because all the rappers are taking all the acting jobs. Like the awareness that was already there in the 90s, and then all we see is that it has continually progressed since then. So we're pushing 30 years of seeing how this kind of thing goes. Check my notes real quick. Yeah, but yeah, essentially, it doesn't take anything for like to take a look at all like the what would historically be called, I guess, more B movies or straight to DVD type movies and stuff like that, which are bags for black actors. And since then, how many singers and actors have we seen popping up who have a new movie coming out all the time? LaToya Luckett, and she just comes to mind because I just saw something on her. She just got married or whatever, so I saw her. Congratulations to her, by the way. But like, she has more movies than like studio hours post Destiny's Child. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what she does. Like, but now that's her lane. She makes the Lifetime and like the the DVD, what used to be DVD. But I mean, you get my point. And it's like all these singers and rappers and actors and now athletes. Steph Curry got a new TV show coming out, y'all, on Hulu. I'm gonna need Steph to go over there and make sure he's being his best, in his best physical shape. Steph been around for a minute. He's still great, but he's also not a spring chicken anymore. Which is why I understand that he's venturing into other realms. But Steph, we don't need you on the camera. You can put an actor on the camera. You can get that executive producer bag. And and it's not my job to count anybody's money or anything like that. Like, it's just annoying because, like, and especially now that we live in a time where give me a second, y'all. Oh, I'm looking a little greasy. It's hot. But now that we live in a time where social media holds a lot of weight. Social media holds weight. Like I said, you see Instagram and social media influencers taking over left and right, or getting opportunities left and right that didn't exist to people who weren't vetted and who had to go through audition processes and become approved and get somebody's cosign. So now we live in a world where, unfortunately, black has become the hood. And what I mean by that is the only celebs or the only new buzzes we hear about are new rappers, because you don't need to go through record labels anymore. You don't need to go through A&R and go through media training. Like you don't need to do that anymore. You drop something, it goes viral. Now here you are, and you're Sexy Red. You know what I mean? And you're somebody who some people are expecting people to take seriously. I'm not. But the reality is that she has the platform. So she has access to do and say and influence, those who are in a space in their lives where a Sexy Red could influence anything that they do. However, the reality is that she wouldn't have that platform if there weren't a lot of people who she can actually influence and represent. However, not everyone deserves a seat at the table. That's just not how life is supposed to be. I'll leave that there. But my point is that now, like, the only new people we hear popping up on social media are typically, young rappers, young fly-by-night rappers, not, nobody's talking about anything for real. And it's, like I said, it's the hood. Like, and listen, I'm from the hood. Don't get me wrong by any stance. However, I know that my neighbor from next door, he don't need to be on, he don't need to be influencing the masses. Put it like that. Yeah. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. And unfortunately, when was the last time we heard about, a film that was coming out with, some young rapper, some young actor. You see? Because that's the de facto go-to. Some young rappers most likely start starring in it. That's been the narrative for so long. But I meant to say, like, some new young actor, fresh out of Juilliard or fresh out of, on the scene, like, who was just discovered randomly, who has this great performance in this new movie. this new film that's coming out, or this new TV show, featuring, some new young black talent. We don't hear about that anymore because black celebrity has equaled new rapper for so long. And I feel like the fact that we've spent so long creating a bubble of what black celebrity looks like, where it's like, okay, if you are a black celebrity, hell, now I think they said Tamar got a movie coming out now. Tamar, please. You can actually sing. You're one of the last of like that breed. And now you over here making the movies. It's just frustrating because, and I say it not to compare, because I mean, we can't compare black people to white people or to black people to the masses, quote unquote. Like tit for tat tennis match. We can't. We all have different privileges and different, access and all those realities. However, when the last time you heard about Jennifer Aniston having a new single coming out? Or Jennifer Aniston's new fashion line? Or Bradley Cooper's new, whatever. They stay in their lanes, and don't get me wrong, because I'm fully aware of the privilege of their roles in their industries. Like, white Hollywood is very different than black Hollywood. I get that. However, I just hate the fact that for black people, the standard is just the celebrity test. It's like, oh, you're a celebrity. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're famous. You're famous. All black people know you. So that means you can have a fashion line, you can have an album, you can have a movie, you can have a sneaker line, you can have a restaurant, you can have a home health aid service. Like, you can do whatever you want because you're famous in the black community now. And that's so limiting in the long run because it breaks down and chips away at other opportunities for other black people to enter the game. Even like, at fellow new YouTuber, myself and ourselves, with our podcast, with our Just Draws podcast. And you see, like, now that celebrities are realizing that there is a bag to be earned by going over and having YouTube shows. Now every celebrity got a damn podcast. Every black celebrity wants to have a podcast for a quick bag that they're not invested in long-term podcasting. They just heard that there was a check over there, and that because they have a platform, they can go get a quick check. And it's watering down the industry. Like my man Shannon Sharp, everybody went crazy, and he blew up with the Cat Williams interview. However, that Cat Williams interview, respectively, could have gone to the Mike Jones or Mike Jenkins podcast. Good old Mike Jenkins from Charlotte, North Carolina, who been just chipping away at it. If he had been lucky enough to score a Cat Williams interview, the interview would have gotten the same numbers because the interview was Cat Williams. They weren't tuning in because it was Shannon Sharp. And again, that's not even a slight at Shannon, because what Shannon does great is he does his research, and he makes sure that he knows his talking points, or at least he knows where he's coming from. However, the fact that he is now the go-to space, basically, for black journalism is crazy. But that's because he's Shannon Sharp, football star, ESPN columnist, or commentator, excuse me. So now he's where you have the whole community, the whole entertainment industry coming to for trying to get an interview now. He now has the hot platform because he was a great football player. Do y'all see how that doesn't make it make sense? Like that's crazy. And that's the world we're living in. Like, quick shout out to comic Pierre. Like, Pierre has been grinding, doing this. I don't know, some of y'all may be familiar with him. He was a, long time comic view, Def Jam, all that stuff. He's been around for a long time. He was in Baps, but he's been really grinding on his platform. And it's mostly centered, mostly been centered around, a platform for him to interview other comedians. But he's had lots of other people on, singers, actors, all that kind of stuff. And instead of, him being able to like get some of that shine, or like, or get some of his fellow comedians to come on, they're all scraping to go all over and talk to Shannon Sharpe. They're trying to get on Shannon Sharpe because now the narrative is that, oh, if you go on Shannon, like that's where comedians go to keep it a buck. And that's all because he happened to have Cat Williams on that day. Yeah. It's crazy. And my last point. And the one of the things that really kind of put a little bit of a put a battery in my back about doing this topic was when LeBron James' son, Bronny Jr., got drafted. And everybody all of a sudden wanted to jump on the whole nepotism conversation. Like, granted, everybody knows Bronny wouldn't have gotten that draft position without LeBron. However, it's LeBron. This isn't number 12 on the team, as a role player. This is LeBron James. Of course he's going to use his nepotism. My issue is all people want to pick and choose when it's a problem. Now, I'm all about the fact that, like, all right, people who have like zero experience, like quick example, Ivanka Trump back during the pandemic. I remember she had made some kind of speech and she was talking about the topic at hand was about the American people and how everybody was down bad. Everybody was like, the economy was looking crazy. People didn't know what the next day looked like. And she had the audacity and the privilege to go on some platform and make a speech talking about how she knows that the American people don't want things handed to them and that they want to work hard for the things that they have. And I was just like, the fucking audacity and privilege of it all. All she knows is having things handed to her. Now, I don't know, she could have went to school and got great grades. Who knows? Either way, she wasn't gonna have to struggle and wait in line and hope that she was still in the running for a damn great career. Like, miss all of us with all of that. So like, it's that kind of nepotism, and especially when you try to turn around and act as if like you don't benefit from it. That kind of nepotism is crazy. LeBron using his muscle to put his son, no one can argue that he's competent. It's like not like he didn't play basketball and just came out of nowhere and just got put on the team. Like, the kid plays ball. He wouldn't have been in the same position if his last name was not James, attached to a father with the first name LeBron. But it's not like he's been put into the role as vice president, VP of operations over at the Lakers organization or something like that. Like, so miss me with that. And I hate seeing how everybody's perfectly okay with people being able to use their access to monopolize any industry they can get their toe in because of that access, but then want to turn around and act like LeBron was tripping. All right, with that, I'm gonna head out. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Always like, share, and subscribe. Hit us up. We are still a little engine that keeps on cooking. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Just Draws. Have a good night, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Now be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and Spotify at Just Draws. That's JUSTDRAWZ. Until next time,